Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch. As I always say, don't use YouTube as a replacement for therapy. If you need a therapist, get one. You deserve it. You really do. Let's watch.
Okay. Welcome back, Angela.
Hi, Sean. Sorry again.
Are you feeling better?
No, I don't feel good now. I feel hot, you know. I feel bad. I apologize, Lydia, for doing that, but you go too far, man.
All right, so as always, I will analyze apologies on these shows because I think it's an important function in human relationships. And she's saying that she's sorry to Lydia, but you drive me too far. You go too far, man. So is that really an apology or is it a non-apology? Maybe Angela will follow it up with actual indications of an apology. A lot of people think that an apology is just saying you're sorry. And that's a beginning, but it definitely doesn't encompass a full apology. Let's see if Angela can actually apologize with her actions. And what we'd be looking for is, I'm sorry for yelling. I'm sorry for being intimidating. I'm sorry for over talking. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm sorry for not letting you talk. I'm sure that must have been very distressful to you and very harmful to you, very hurtful, very concerning to you. And you have every right to be concerned about that sort of behavior. It's not okay. It's akin or literally abusive behavior. And I've been doing it very often and I get triggered sometimes. That's no excuse, but it is an explanation and I'm going to try hard to relax and not be triggered in the future. That would be a full apology. Let's see if Angela says something like that.
And so I apologize for being vulgar, for how I acted, but not what I said.
All right, so we're going in a good direction. I apologize for being vulgar, and I apologize for how I acted and what I said. All right, so it's headed in the right direction. We would hope that she would say some of the other things, maybe specific things. I'm sorry for saying this. I'm sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for doing this specific thing. Let's see if she can be specific.
I meant that. Stay out my business. No woman, including aunts, uncles, moms, is going to tell my husband what to do.
All right, so it's sounding like one of those non-apology apologies where she's saying, I'm sorry for my behavior, I'm sorry for what I did, but you should know better than to get in my business. Now, this whole my business thing, get out of my business, stay, it's none of your business, is kind of a weird one to me. Lydia is being asked to come on the show, one, so she's being asked to provide her opinion, and she's providing her opinion. One. Two, she is Michael's family. And as we all know, we have opinions, especially when we're trying to protect our family members. If anything, you should have an opinion. You should be in your family's business if your family wants you in their business. Michael wants Lydia in his business. Lydia wants Michael to have what he wants, which is to have a child. And so that's why Lydia gets involved. Michael wants to have a relationship in which he is not being abused verbally and physically. And of course, Lydia wants that for him as well. So it is absolutely her business. If you have an aunt that loves you very much, you would hope that she would make it her business if she found that you were being abused and that your needs weren't being met. Now, there's a reasonableness to butting in, so to speak. And I think Lydia is, in my cultural pocket, being appropriate. So now, of course, what Angela is reacting to is she just doesn't like people opposing her. She also doesn't like relinquishing control, I believe, because she's trying to establish attachment security and she perceives being made the fool of, being humiliated, and or losing control as lack of access to emotional needs. It's backwards, actually. She has that backwards, but as a lot of people do with those kinds of schemas. But so I think that for Angela, at least she exhibits this pattern where as soon as Michael has control, as soon as Michael has a voice, as soon as other people come to Michael's rescue, then she will try to eliminate that threat to her control. Let's see what she does here.
And I love him. I have to see that I guide him through. And as a Nigerian man, he's supposed to get married and have kids. Michael is doing a lot of sacrifice for Angela, which she did not know. He must have his own offspring too. So that is it.
So if Michael agrees with that, then I'm guessing Lydia's involvement and her statements that he needs to have kids is welcomed by Michael. Or is Michael more on the fence and thinking, well, I don't really know if I want to live the traditional life of a Nigerian man, and I'm open to not having kids. Let's see what Michael says here.
There was talk about having a baby down the line. Now, have we put that issue to rest? Are you saying you
As
do
of
not
today,
want to have a baby with Michael?
Over it. He wants a baby. Go get, do what your Aunt Lydia says. Go marry somebody and have some children. Knock yourself out, but don't call me when you realize the grass ain't green on the other side.
All right, so Angela, it's almost like Angela says so many things that you just kind of get used to the severity of her statements. She just told Michael to get married with someone else, and we all know that Angela, for her to say that, she's essentially saying she doesn't want to be with Michael anymore and that they're breaking up. So Angela is saying, let's break up. Let's get a divorce. You have another wife and you can have kids with them because I don't want to be with you. That's essentially what she's saying, which is a huge thing to say in a relationship. Michael has heard this sort of thing, I'm guessing dozens upon dozens of times. We've seen a few dozen of those times and doesn't regard it as such. But it does, just imagine if like Jovi said something like that. Well, he's like, well, if you want another kid, go back to Ukraine and have, get married, we would understand that would be something that we'd go, whoa. But when Angela says it, given the frequency of her statements, so that's telling, one. Two, why would you say something like that? From the beginning, you have been saying you wanted to have kids with Michael. Now, you've changed your mind. That's okay. Or you have concerns. That's okay. You can just say that. You can just say, hey, I don't know if I want to have kids. I think I might have changed my mind. Just tell Michael and Lydia that. They'll be upset, but you don't have to put up all these smoke and mirrors of humiliation and abuse.
Michael, I'm very upset with you more than Aunt Lydia. You should have told Aunt Lydia, respect you, hush. My wife, hush. You never do that with Aunt Lydia.
I told her in my native language.
Didn't they ask? Oh, calm down. Did they tell you that he snuck off when I was recovering?
Now, I don't know, because I don't know their relationship other than what we've seen on the show, which we have to understand is a small snippet of the reality, if any indication of reality. But I will say that in abusive relationships, the abuser, the perpetrator, will try to isolate the victim from their friends and family because they know that that will facilitate greater control. And they will also put their victim down and almost claim, now this is a style of an abuser, but they will claim that they're the one being abused. If you've ever been in an abusive relationship, there's a good chance that you were a recipient of these kinds of messages of, I'm not the abuser, you're the abuser, saying to the victim, you're the one abusing me, look what you did to me. That's why I that's why I do what I do. What I'm doing is justified. You're the one who caused this sort of thing. So let's just say that.
Say that.
No.
You're a lying son.
I didn't.
You know he did. No, the world needs to know you're a liar. You're a liar, man. You know what? I want you to have it. Listen, I don't want a divorce. I just do what I want to do. I got married in Nigeria, and it ain't legit here. You. Have a good life.
Wow. Again, from the beginning, Angela, if you don't want to be in a relationship, that's fine. If you think Michael isn't the one for you, incompatible, you're hurt, you think, let's just call it quits, you can do that. But the way she goes about it, flipping him off, and she essentially just said, I don't want a divorce, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do, implying that she's going to be with other men. I think that's pretty clear what she's saying. And we all understand that this isn't what she means. In 5 minutes, she'll be saying that she doesn't want that. And she'll be asking him to apologize, and he will be apologizing. It's just, if this was all that we saw, I'd be like, well, this is kind of interesting, high drama. But I've been watching Angela for several seasons now. When you take it in its entirety, big time yikes.
Go to hell, you son of a bitch.
Why?
All right, we're done.
For what?
Skylar, when I walk out this door, I'm going to the hotel.
For what?
Skylar, we're out of here.
Right. Michael's saying, for what? If we just take what actually happened, if I remember right from last week, they brought on Lydia, and Lydia said, well, I want Angela to respect him more, and I also feel like Michael should be able to have a kid. I feel like they should be talking more about that sort of thing. which they've been talking about from the beginning, so it shouldn't surprise anyone, including Angela. And okay, Angela could be like, well, I kind of feel like I do respect him, but we all know that she doesn't. And I don't know if I want to have kids anymore. So I'm not quite sure. I understand, Lydia, why you're saying that you want him to have kids, because that's a big, important thing to you and your family and your culture. And I did say in the beginning that I did want to pursue that, but I think I might have changed my mind, and I'm really sorry about that. That's all she has to say. Or even just say nothing, just like, well, I guess that's Lydia's opinion. But instead, the yelling, the cursing, the flipping off, the verbal abuse, the threats of leaving, the commands of you can't be with your family anymore, the calling people out, these kinds of things, it's notable. And I do see comments, people supporting Angela, which is fine. Everyone can have their own opinion, but I think that people need to see her behavior for what it is, as abusive. It's been abusive. I remember as I was watching her in the beginning, I just thought, wow, this is getting out of control. And then I think it was before she put the cake in his face, which is absolutely an abusive act, I had started to categorize her behavior as abusive. And then when she smashed the cake in his face, and I remember thinking, why is she doing? Anyway, it's abusive, and you can like her and you can sympathize with her, as I do. You know, what every abusive perpetrator I've ever treated, I've always had sympathy for, I've always had empathy for, conceptualization, compassion for. I get it. It doesn't justify it, though, and it needs to be categorized as such, I think, because we do not want to normalize this kind of behavior. We want to look at it and say, that's not okay. So I think, what do I wish for society? And in the comment section, I wish that, and I think it can go the other way too, in terms of people thinking that she's some sort of evil psychopath, which I don't believe. She could be, anyone could be, but on the show, because we can't properly assess them. But so what I hope? Well, I would hope people would see it as abusive and be able to detect this kind of behavior in the real world and say, ooh, that's like Angela, that's abusive. I would hope that people can understand the difference between just light entertainment and watching something that's really quite disturbing. I would hope that people could have compassion for everyone, including Angela, and understand that she wasn't born this way, that she has defenses that were developed in response to difficulties when she was growing up. We don't really know the nature of those, and there could be a wide variety of things. She could have abused herself, she could have witnessed abuse, she could have been abandoned and made to feel like she's worthless and is overcompensating by asserting her dominance and superiority in this way. She could have been ignored a lot of her life, and she is really histrionic with her expression of her emotions because she learned the only way to get attention and security, attachment security, and attunement is to be histrionic. She could have developed syndromes around wanting drama in her life to demonstrate to her that she matters in the world. I've hypothesized that she has traumas around being humiliated, and that's why whenever there's a hint of humiliation coming her way, she will dominate through over-talking and by, dominating the conversation with all of her antics. And she believes she's getting on top of making a fool out of herself, when I think a lot of people would agree she's the one who's, by trying not to be the fool, she's becoming the fool. She could have internalized notions that she is the fool, and because she was treated that way, and so she recreates that by making herself into a fool. People will do that subconsciously and consciously. So, and there's dozens of other roads to where she's at, but I would hope that people would imagine there's something there. There's got to be something there that would explain why she is that way, and it's not volitional.
I'm not playing with him. I love all of y'all. I appreciate all the hard work this crew does, but one thing Angela won't do, I won't kiss nobody's ass for love. Seems like...
Interesting. So she has a schema, an interpretation of the difference between what she did, she's essentially saying, if I didn't do that, then I would be kissing someone's butt. So either I am going to make everyone kiss my butt, or I'm going to completely dominate through behavior and over talking and screaming and insulting and rejecting and flipping people off and cursing and insulting and all the things. I'm going to dominate by that, or the alternative to that is I'm kissing someone's butt. That's an interesting way of thinking, very black and white, the bifurcation there, the splitting there. And when people are terrified of one thing, they will do a lot to avoid it.
When we got married, somebody's in his ear, and that somebody's got to be Lydia, because like Tracy said, it's a woman with a letter L. She don't know our family over there. She don't know nothing but what, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so from her psychic, she learned that someone with a woman with the letter L will be interfering. Now, from my memory, it was a woman with a letter L he was cheating with, if I remember right. So, yeah. And this is how, what do I say? I'll just say this. So we all understand that there are con artists in the world, or there are people who are trying to sell something that isn't legit. And there are various different ways to do that. And one of the ways is to sell a product that is so vague that if the customer believes it works, then the customer believes that it works.
Miss Casanova, yeah. Oh, bitch, you didn't take up from nothing. Now you want to call me? Kiss my ass.
Hello.
Michael, look at you. I ain't mad. I'm not mad. I am not mad. I want you to look at this face when I tell you this. You can start your life over there, because this is as far as I'm going.
All because he says, I want to have kids, as he's been saying from the beginning. And she said, yes, let's have kids. Let's try that. Am I understanding that right? Is this whole thing is because that, and also because, right, I forgot. Under her assertion is that he abandoned her when she was going through the surgery. And if I remember right from last week, she said that he only called her once a day. And then he says, well, it's kind of hard to connect over the internet. So this is all because of that. This is, and we've seen this every episode almost with her, that there'll be something that, it's okay, you're upset, you're hurt or something. But if you just watch this, you would think, oh, he's been cheating on her. He, crashed her car and didn't tell, something that was over the top. And I guess the crash in the car isn't that big of a deal. Anyway, the point is that if you saw this, you would think, wow, there must be something terrible that happened. When you just look at the facts, it's bizarre.
I asked you to tell Aunt Lydia to stop. Where were you when I didn't have to tell you to tell Aunt Lydia to stop? You chose the wrong one, the wrong time.
I told her.
Yo, did not, and you lied to me. Michael, I'm done. I'm not mad. I'm going out. I'm in my little hot outfit. I'm going out, and I'm going to get some attention, and I'm going to get some good attention.
Yikes. At some point, you just have to wonder what. Anyway, yikes. If you want to break up, break up. If you don't like him, you don't like him. If you don't love him, you don't. If you don't think you're compatible, you're not compatible. But she has done this dozens of times. So if we think that's the end, okay, ugly breakup happens sometimes, not the best, whatever. But this is just the behavior she does for control. This is the way she expresses how she's hurt. This is what she does when she's trying to avoid being made the fool, according to her perception. She will be back together with him soon, and he will be the one apologizing. If you haven't become a patron of the podcast yet, you can do so now by going to patreon.com. That's how we know that you like what we're doing. It's the main way. And it's up to you. If you want to become a patron, that'd be great. And if you don't, that's also fine. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.